Agriculture, the backbone of America. In the vast spaces of our country, the points left off maps, we pursue the simple calling to raise the nation's food. But we're not a simple people. Farmers and ranchers give each day to the land, to their animals, their families, and communities. And they're the faces of the most sophisticated and safest beef production system in the world. In the pre-dawn hours before the dew lifts, in the afternoon sun, or during the dead of night, we carry out a silent oath to provide our very best to the animals that always return the same. We are caretakers. We are stewards. It's our job to not only grow food, but to grow opportunity for others who want to chase this American dream, where husbands and wives are also business partners, neighbors are mentors, and there's always a helping hand. Today, we give thanks for a nation that allows us such abundant freedoms. This remains a place where opportunity exists for the entrepreneurs willing to get their hands dirty, to take risks, and to learn a few lessons along the way. This is a land of promise and growth. I am Angus, and this is our story. To grow opportunities for quality beef, we must begin our story well before the meat case. In thousands of homes across the country, farm families are busy raising the next generation. Many of these young people, like Reese Tuckwiller, aspire to a life in the Angus business. A student at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln, his roots run 1,000 miles east to the West Virginia soil where he learned to love the ranching way of life. Now, as a senior in animal science and a member of the National Junior Angus Board, Reese pursues his dreams to return to his family's multi-generational farm while helping other young leaders to do the same. It starts with a well-meaning push.
If it wasn't for some of the people in my life pushing me and just kind of shoving me out the door, I wouldn't be standing here today. Born and raised in the Greenbrier Valley, Lewisburg, West Virginia, ninth generation farmer. My family has been in that same exact spot for 9 generations, being able to go over the hill and see like where the old fence lines used to be, where the old orchard used to be, where the old grist mill used to be. Just there's so much history right there where we've always been. I spent day in and day out after school, or whether it was a Saturday or Sunday, hanging out with my grandpa. I mean, I didn't realize how big of an effect he had on me then. Every single thing he did, whether it was pounding a staple, digging a fence post hole, or developing a new water irrigation system for the county commission, he did it to the best of his ability, and he tried to do it in the utmost integrity to himself and the county. Just noticing my day-to-day activities and remembering what he did. It's crazy how someone can brush off on you like that so fast. They don't realize that they're doing it and you're paying attention, but you absorb everything. I'm like a sponge.
Welcome to the 2016 National Junior Angus Show Award Ceremony, Director Reese Tuckwiller.
I was a huge introvert. I didn't really come out of my shell until I became part of the National Junior Angus Association. When I decided to get on the National Junior Angus Board, it was 2015 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it was hotter than all get out. I went after and I asked Alex Rogan, I said, hey, you do things really well and I like a lot of things you do. How can I prepare myself to run for the board? And everyone always just told me just walk around and meet everybody. And I decided to sit down and take a break from going around and talking to everybody, because I was struggling. I was like, I'm talking to too many people. Maybe they're annoyed with me. Maybe they don't want to talk to me anymore. Maybe I'm just coming off as like too conversational. Maybe I need to turn it back. And I closed my eyes for maybe 5 seconds, and Alex Rogan comes swarming in and smacks me square in the stomach and says, hey man, if you want this and you want this drive and you want to be a part of this, you got to get up and you got to get out there. So him kind of just boosting my confidence and throwing me back out into the fighting pit probably helped out a lot. Got onto the board and things took off from there. It really tore me out of my shell quickly, and I'm so glad that it did. If I go to an Angus show today, I can usually walk down every single aisle and find somebody I know or I'm really close with. The networking through that has been astronomical for just the relationships I have and the friendships I've made. You know, I wouldn't change a thing. You live in a glass house. Everyone's got their eyes on you. Everyone kind of pays attention to what you're doing. Doing the right thing and being conscious of what your actions are, who's around, and how you talk to people, I think that has a bigger impact on people than I personally thought it did at first.
We'll catch up with Reese again later to explore how influences in and outside the classroom shape tomorrow's farmers and ranchers. Meanwhile, a kind word and simple guidance can make all the difference in rural communities, in places like Pratt, Kansas.
Having a mentor is very important for you. It gives you goals. It gives you somebody to look up to.
Without mentorship, I wouldn't be doing what I do today. I guess the reason I started in the Angus business was I started working at the sale barn when I was 14 years old, and two, I guess, of the icons of the beef business in this area, in my mind and in thousands of other people's minds, would be the Lewises. Mike Lewis owned Pratt Livestock from the time I worked there all the way through, and was the largest private sale barn in the country. Sold the most cattle in the mid-90s. His brother was a very, very large order buyer and was very influential in buying the best cattle in this area. And I grew up respecting them and wanting to work for them.
He started working here. I think he weighed about 30 pounds in, and half of that was braces.
And he would skip one day of school to be out here, and he'd work outside just like that. No special deal. He'd be right in the middle of everything. He had tremendous interest in marketing cattle.
Yeah, I worked with Steve at the sale barn and have been around Mike Lewis and Jake and Van Lewis. Definitely had a lot to teach.
They taught me how to treat people, how to do business honest, how to treat people right so they come back. They taught me the importance of quality cattle and improving cattle and sorting cattle and marketing cattle instead of just selling them. And so their mentorship and guidance is probably what drove me to want to make cattle better every day. And that's what we get up to do every day, is to make our customers' cattle better and make our cattle better to make theirs better.
He's worked very hard. He has studied his numbers. He's tried to get some of the best genetics put together.
I'm proud to be associated with him. He says I taught him everything he knows, but my God, I don't know anything about the register business. I'm a stalker feeder operator. But he's really progressed. There's a lot going on in the future for him. And I'm proud to be a little bitty part of it.
I definitely consider Steve a mentor of mine because I have learned more about the marketing of cattle through him. Also, genetics as far as buying bulls and everything else. Mentorship in the cattle business, it's hard to make advancements in an industry if we're always relearning the same lessons.
Out here, we're very lucky. In small communities and tight-knit communities, you have a lot of people willing to help and want to see you succeed.
Being able to identify people that are trying to help you and avoid making some of the same mistakes basically improves your chances of sustainability in this industry.
I feel that mentorship is probably the most important thing in anybody's life. even if it's a kid that lives in the city and that is somebody in high school or college, somebody that touches their life and gets them on the right track.
When AM Angus returns, stunning Montana views and what it takes to raise Angus as a family and produce a quality eating experience. We'll return in a moment.
This isn't a 9-to-5 job. So when you check the pants one last time, put away the tools, and make sure everything's ready to hand off to the night crew. It's not the clock that tells you the day is over. It's the confidence of knowing you got it right. It's having one less thing to worry about when the sun goes down. So when you see the signs of BRD, choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health. Talk to your veterinarian about Zuprevo for BRD treatment.
This is a business of risk and reward. This is a business that depends on making the right decisions at the right time, finding ways to add quality and eliminate inefficiencies. But how do you know? Angus Genetics Incorporated, the industry's leader in genetic evaluation and innovation, equipping breeders with tools and information to reduce risk and add value, helping them make decisions earlier and with greater precision. AGI, your source for proven, trusted, and unbiased information. Learn more at angus.org. Weaning time is decision time, but how do you know which Angus heifers to keep and which to sell? Gene Max Advantage from Zoetis. Gene Max Advantage is a genomic test that helps you decide with confidence which heifers will perform, and it pinpoints which bulls complement your herd to maximize dependable genetics. Gene Max Advantage is an easy, affordable test with index scores that deliver smart outlier reporting for customized selection and mating decisions. In challenging times, you need an advantage. Gene Max Advantage. AM Angus is brought to you by Merck Animal Health. Why not prevent respiratory disease before it steals from your bottom line? Vista Once protects your calves with the most complete respiratory disease coverage available. And Vision Blackleg vaccines can add 14 pounds per calf at weaning. Contact your veterinarian or animal health supplier today. Welcome back to AM Angus. Family is everything for the Christensens, who ranch near Hot Springs, Montana. Sean and Jen care for Angus cattle that graze the same land his grandfather first homesteaded a century ago.
Ranching matters to me because it's a part of our heritage. And now it has become something that, maybe isn't as mainstream. I feel sorry for the people out there that have never gotten to step foot in a set of corrals or see a baby calf be born and watch the process of how that steak gets on their plate. We're not a big operation, but being a family-run business, we take a lot of pride in what we do.
My oldest daughter's 12, she's Caitlin, and my youngest daughter's 7, and she's Kara. They do run sorting gates for me when we're sorting cattle out in the corrals. And I was teasing Kara this spring. I said, well, there's probably one question you're never going to have to ask me again. And she says, what's that? And I says, you're never going to ask me, Dad, when can I help? When can I help? And I says, she's pretty much hired now.
They're able to help a lot. And I think learning the benefits to hard work and work ethics and what you put into this is what we're going to get out of it. And I think that they're old enough now to realize that, and they're seeing that the harder they work with us, the more fun it is and the benefits of what they get out of it. I mean, it's very humbling to have seen all the hard work that you've put into it and know that it was all done with our hands. I do feel like we are one link in a chain of events that has to happen for that premium product to reach the consumer. It's fun that maybe we're the first link, you know, with the calves born, but we can't do it by ourselves, and the feedlot can't, and the restaurant can't. So it's neat to work in an industry with other people who are also doing their very best, and that when it all works together, then we get a real premium product for the consumer.
Raising Angus cattle and a family on the farm is also a focus for Bud Smith in Kentucky. The longtime Angus breeder believes the breed and rural America provide limitless opportunity.
All right, I'm Bud Smith from Russell Springs, Kentucky, Smithland Angus Farm. Been raising Angus cattle since 1940. My granddad and his 3 sons bought their first Angus cattle in 1940. I'm the 3rd generation. We have the 5th generation here on the farm. Everyone loves the farming aspect, so we expect it to continue for many generations to come. We believe that there's no better place not only to make a living, but to raise a family. Our livelihood has been just totally from Angus cattle and farming. I loved Angus cattle and the junior programs, and as time went on, I got more and more involved with the American Angus Association. As my time progressed on the Angus board, why, I was very fortunate to move up and became vice president and was president of the association in the year 2000. Had a tremendous board there at that time. I couldn't have asked for a better set of men and women anywhere to serve with. We all had the same goals and the same ideas, that we wanted to make our association and our breed of cattle better for our membership. When you think about making your living with Angus cattle, there's no better thing that we can go into as our family, because there's always a demand for a good product, and we've got Angus is a great product to market.
When AM Angus returns, a follow-up with Reese Tuckwiller and the many judging team experiences that are shaping young leaders across the country and teaching valuable skills.
Forward. It's more than a direction. It's mandatory. Because the beef business rewards the progressive. The doers. The ones who know what it takes to go easy on cattle and never set them back. The industry's longest protection. Vista wants vaccine. So set your eyes on the horizon. Turn your back to the wind and move your herd the only way you know. Forward. Vista Vaccines. Always ahead.
Beef quality is everyone's responsibility, including yours. That's why the Checkoff-funded Beef Quality Assurance Program is key to your future. BQA, empowering people because you can make a difference, taking responsibility because it's our job, not someone else's, working together because product safety and wholesomeness is everyone's business. Find out more at bqa.org. Angus breeders, predictability is also affordable. The i50K from Zoetis is a low-density genomic test that allows you to dig deeper for untapped herd potential. With less investment, access genomic information on even more animals for less cost without sacrificing accuracy. i50K from Zoetis helps you make more informed decisions sooner and better match your females to that perfect sire. To learn more, visit i50k.com. I Am Angus is brought to you by Merck Animal Health. At Merck Animal Health, we're dedicated to improving the health and well-being of animals through innovative, science-based solutions, products, treatments, and services to ensure a dependable, affordable food supply. Contact your veterinarian or animal health supplier today. Welcome back to I Am Angus. The growth of the ag industry and the Angus breed will depend on the ability to foster future leaders and a passion for raising cattle. To raise a young person, it takes a village, and in the case of Reese Tuckwiller, a judging team.
It is vital that we raise new leaders within our industry. If you look back over the past 50 years of livestock production, there has always been a core of people that everybody could look towards as the leaders of the industry. And those folks are at some point in time going to give way to a new generation.
I was finishing up my senior year of high school, and I didn't really have a plan. I knew I wanted to go judge and I wanted to do the junior college avenue. And I got a call from a lady who coached Brad Bennett back in the day before he went to junior college. Said that he was looking for kids to come out here to Nebraska and judge, and he knew my family, so it was kind of like a shoo-in. You kind of just got to follow your feet. You don't exactly know where they're going to take you, but I've definitely never second-guessed coming here. So my roommates here at the University of Nebraska, one of them I was fortunate enough to go to junior college with as well. His name's Wyatt Williamson. He's from, Hey Wyatt! Huh? Newark. Then my other roommate, Clay Rowland, he went to junior college in Fort Scott. They're both on the judging team with me, and we're getting ready to start our last hurrah, our fall semester of our senior year, going into Kansas City and Louisville. And those are the grand finale for a livestock judger's career, unless you get to judge some shows. So we're pretty excited about it.
Collegiate livestock judging offers a pathway for Reese and hundreds of others to further their passion for agriculture. Early-day livestock producers were required to hone their skills of assessing the best cattle, sheep, and pigs. Those with the keenest eyes were rewarded in high-quality, highly marketable animals. But even as methods evolved over time to offer more scientific ways of choosing the best livestock, the merits of judging remain, largely in leadership development.
Personally, I think livestock judging is the best way to really get out there and build a leader.
I think that someone locked the keys in the van.
Hop in that van to go on a weekend trip. You judge classes all day, you give reasons till sometime in the evening. You have dinner and it becomes your family. I can't tell you how many countless Snapchats.
We spend 2 to 3 nights a week working on reasons. Come Friday afternoon, when we are done with class, we are automatically on the road and going somewhere. We are visiting operations all across Nebraska and all across the country, practicing, going to contests, and getting kids that kind of exposure. So livestock judging at its core is obviously about teaching young people that are going to be involved in the industry more about it. But what it also molds itself into is a way to build leaders. These young people always have to make decisions. And so those core principles of really critical thinking, communication, and also when you think about what we do on the collegiate level as a member of a large team, I learn how to work with others. So when Reese first started on our livestock judging team, he was not the most vocal person when it came to leadership. He had to grow within his own leadership capabilities. And I remember a time in the spring semester, we were actually at the Keneally Angus Ranch in Whitman, Nebraska. It was January, it was cold, and I had just gotten done maybe getting a little harder on our kids to focus a little more. And Reese was in the same boat as all of his teammates around him. He had not had the best day. He was down on his luck and certainly not performing to his own capabilities. So I walked away to go make the next class. And that's when I turned around and I saw Reese with 4 or 5 of his teammates around him. It certainly looked like Reese was doing a lot of the talking, and he was talking about the mental side of livestock judging in particular and how to handle that adversity that all of them were going through. And he stepped up on his own, unprompted, to become that person. And his ability to do that in the last year, since he's came to the University of Nebraska, has defined him as a leader. And if he continues to do that going forward, then he will be as successful in this industry as anybody. So livestock judging is a main way that we can hopefully try to build leaders and an avenue that those folks can take. But there are countless others. We have to try our hardest here, not only at the youth level in 4-H and FFA, but also once they get to college, to try to make sure that they know that there was a lot of people that came before them that paved the road that they are now on, and it's their job going forward to continue to pave it.
We're going to be in charge soon. We're going to be running the show. It's not going to be our parents or our grandparents, and we're going to have to take responsibility for it. So if you have a good set of leaders that want to do that, then you know the sky's the limit in terms of just, yeah, the sky's the limit.
Our story starts and ends with the people behind it. Family, friends, and hands-on experiences, as we'll see later, offer well-rounded lessons in leadership. When we return, a beautiful native Missouri prairie and a visit to the current-day site of some of the most notable Virginia Angus herds and horse stables.
We stand for what we believe in. We believe in you. It's more than a job. It's your way of life. Who you are, where you live, and what you do. The way you treat your cattle, your family, your employees, and your neighbors. The water you drink, the air you breathe, and the ground you walk on. What you do every day gives families something to gather around every night. It's about doing what's right for your cattle, your land, your community, and your business. It's your livelihood, and it means as much to us as it does to you. We all believe in responsible beef. Let's stand together at responsiblebeef.com.
This is what morning looks like in ranch country. A rising sun, a task at hand, an opportunity to build. Today, cattle producers are more profitable than they've been in generations. The days of uncertainty, a memory. The dawn of something different, something better upon us. We are pressing the issue, growing, meeting demand with quality and efficiency, and an unwavering commitment to these things. This is what morning is supposed to look like. And because of Angus, the breed, its association, and its people, our industry is prouder, stronger, and better than ever before.
This is a business of risk and reward. This is a business that depends on making the right decisions at the right time, finding ways to add quality and eliminate inefficiencies. But how do you know? Angus Genetics Incorporated, the industry's leader in genetic evaluation and innovation, equipping breeders with tools and information to reduce risk and add value, helping them make decisions earlier and with greater precision. AGI, your source for proven, trusted, and unbiased information. Learn more at angus.org.
Forward. It's more than a direction. It's mandatory, because the beef business rewards the progressive, the doers, the ones who know what it takes to go easy on cattle and never set them back. So set your eyes on the horizon, turn your back to the wind, and move your herd the only way you know. Forward. Vista Vaccines. Always ahead.
Merck Animal Health is a proud sponsor of AM Angus. From cattleman to consumer, from farm to family, We're with you every step of the way. We work where you work. What drives you drives us. It's your livelihood and our responsibility. Contact your veterinarian or animal health supplier today.
I'm Dr. Curtis Long from Butler, Missouri. I moved here in 1964. I was totally broke. Went to the bank, tried to borrow enough money to buy a stove and a refrigerator. They wouldn't lend it to me, said I was a bad risk. Since then, I've delivered over 3,000 babies in this county, probably done over 10,000 surgical procedures, had over 50,000 hospital admissions, run a medical clinic, run Briarwood Farms, and with the help of Russell, we started a sporting goods store on the square called L&D Outdoors. I've been in the cattle business all my life. I went to the University of Missouri. I got my first degree in ag biochemistry, went home and worked for my father in his packing house for 3 years, then applied for medical school. I got in and I went back to medical school from 59 to 63. We own 2,000 acres of land here. We acquired this land 4 years ago. I rented this land for years back in the 60s and 70s. It is indeed a historical wonder in Bates County. It is the only large section of native prairie grass left in this part of the country that's never been disturbed. So it's important that we try to preserve this for the next generation and for the good of the next generation. If you can help the youth, you help the country. The prairie is now beginning to be in full bloom. It will change every 10 days until the 1st of July. A different set of flowers will be in here in the next 2 weeks. You see here over this pink little thing, those are the shooting stars, and the reason they're called shooting stars, they look like, when the flower blooms, looks like a shooting star coming out of the sky. When it drops off, it looks like a shooting star.
As far as I know, it's the only prairie in Missouri that has a white shooting star. And we've got some pink as well. This is a brown-eyed Susie is what they call this. And it's a daisy flower. It's a prairie flower that comes up early morning. Now by 11, 12 o'clock, these will be completely closed. So they come out early morning and out about 4 hours.
The yellow coreoptices are here. The spiderworts, they are here. And the beautiful, beautiful color of the Indian paintbrush is hard to match. If you get paint colors at the store, you can't match it. Try as you may, you can't. It's beautiful. When we acquired this land, there was only 1 or 2 Indian paintbrushes on the whole land, and now we have reestablished them, and there's probably 40 or 5 or 50 and several patches of 25 or 30 now here. I am most proud of this establishment of the prairie grass here, being able to control the Sericea lacidata and reduce the amount of fescue in the pasture. We spray this in the wintertime when the prairie is dormant with Roundup to kill the fescue. What happens is the fescue will invade the prairie and take over unless you try to control it. We do controlled burning. The reason we burn is to help control the weeds and the weed seeds when we burn in the spring. The ash, the fire kills the weed seed, and then the ash works as fertilizer for the prairie grass. The prairie will change as the weather changes. Then it will mature, and we will cut this for hay approximately July the 15th to July the 30th. We will obtain off of this, without a drop of fertilizer, approximately 500 big round bales of hay.
Whenever we get ready to hay it, it takes about 4 solid days from daylight till dark, starting at one end to the other. And you come in here and you cut it 5 to 6 inches up off the ground, depending where that prairie grass stem starts. That's the main thing. You know, the prairie will be, waist high, shoulder high before we hay it.
This grass is good for cattle because when you feed it to them, it brings back their appetite because of the odor and smell. And you notice the odors and smells different than fescue and other grasses here. The cattle do better, their diet's better. What we do at Briarwood now is we currently grind this prairie grass, and our official ration at Briarwood is 1/3 native prairie grass, 1/3 pellet and corn gluten, and 1/3 corn. You know, it's nice to have this beautiful green grass, but it's nice to have the cattle with the genetics that can improve and actually go to the feedlot and turn out a quality product called certified Angus beef. So the real secret is being able to turn this green grass into certified Angus beef. So this is absolutely a beautiful piece of prairie land here. It's an absolutely a historical piece of real estate for the county and the state, and I tend to keep it this way if I can.
Being a professional farm manager, I'm just very happy to be part of American agriculture. I think the backbone of America is the agriculture and always has been. We're at Lazy Lane Farm in Upperville, Northern Virginia. We're east of the Blue Ridge Mountains in the northern Piedmont. All these farms have some nice land out front along Highway 50, and then they all run back up the mountains to some very steep fescue-covered mountainsides. Very good tillable land in the flat part of it, and very good grazing on those mountainsides. The first place Lazy Lane bought, it's a Brookmead farm, and it's a famous old racehorse place owned by the Dodge automobile ancestor, Miss Isabel Dodge Salone. And very successful thoroughbred operation was run here since the late 20s. Cavalcade is buried here. Cavalcade won the Derby in '34. And still there are 8-9 brood mares here, and they sell their yearling colts and fillies every year. In '87, they bought the Amandale property. Brookmead was the famous old thoroughbred outfit, and Amandale was the famous old Angus place owned by John Gall, was president of the American Angus Association. We run an Angus operation on the mountain land and some of the land in the back of these farms. It's approximately 90 spring calving cows and 90 fall calving cows. We got a beautiful place put together here, and it took a lot of years to do it. I'm really firm believer in conservation really matters. We're stewards of the land, and we need to hand it off when our generation's done with it in better shape than what we found it. With Lazy Lane here, I was interested in soil conservation very early on. We're at the foot of the mountain. We go up the mountain on these farms. If that water leaves our farm dirty, there's no one else to blame. It's our fault. That water started on us. We started developing all our springs and had them gravity feeding into water troughs. Eventually put in culverts and fenced out all the streams. Early on, we went completely no-till drill seeding, and there's no cattle drinking out of streams here anymore, except for a couple of hard accesses into a large pond or something for backup in a drought. This woods is pretty place here. The spring of the year, it's all in daffodils and tulips. I'm happy just to grab some supper and go back through some cattle and drive some of these pastures again and just pause on some of the real pretty spots to overlook the beauty of this farm. I love sunrise in the morning. It's so pretty, and at sunset, it's just very rewarding, and even makes you feel good just at the end of the day after a hard day. Just drive around and see the beauty of this farm. Shame you got that ugly day for it. Myself, I've worked here since they started this place in 1982. I've been here 34 years. This is who I am. This is what I like to do. I'm very comfortable in the Angus business. The Angus business has been very good to me, and it's a lot of fun.
Flying W Farms is a beef cattle operation that starts with cow-calf and both spring and fall calving, continues the cattle in a background and stalker operation, and then operate a USDA slaughter plant. We harvest cattle in our own farm slaughter plant and move them to our processing plant, which is also USDA inspected, and then marketed through our store as either individual cuts, quarters, or in personalized boxes of beef.
We also have a restaurant where we serve our beef products. On Friday and Saturday nights we do prime rib dinners. We cater as well.
It all comes back to quality. And in order to accomplish that, we have become vertically integrated in order to control all steps of the process to ensure that we are delivering the highest quality product to the consumer from the farm to the plate. I was raised here on the farm. We were 60 cows, 30 calving in spring, 30 calving in fall, and worked with my wife as a partner in order to make Flying W Farms the success that it is today. Through our efforts of production of food, processing of food products, and retailing within the same location, our consumers have the opportunity to view and see the steps that go into production and have a better understanding of the product that they are consuming.
Food is where you do connect. That's where the family sits down at the end of the day, hopefully, and has a discussion on how their day went, and you find out what's going on in your children's lives. If you don't work together, your spouse's life, and it keeps the family together. The future of Flying W Farms looks bright. We have a son that will be coming home from college to help us run it, and the way things are going, we think that we'll make it and be able to serve more people in the future.
We do more than grind burger and cut steaks. We feed a community of people, and that is with a sacred trust. And I really feel that way.
This isn't a 9-to-5 job. So when you check the pants one last time, put away the tools, and make sure everything's ready to hand off to the night crew. It's not the clock that tells you the day is over. It's the confidence of knowing you got it right. It's having one less thing to worry about when the sun goes down. So when you see the signs of BRD, choose confidence. Choose Zuprevo from Merck Animal Health. Talk to your veterinarian about Zuprevo for BRD treatment.
Beef quality is everyone's responsibility, including yours. That's why the Checkoff-funded Beef Quality Assurance Program is key to your future. BQA. Empowering people because you can make a difference. Taking responsibility because it's our job, not someone else's. Working together because product safety and wholesomeness is everyone's business. Find out more at bqa.org. Weaning time is decision time, but how do you know which Angus heifers to keep and which to sell? Gene Max Advantage from Zoetis. Gene Max Advantage is a genomic test that helps you decide with confidence which heifers will perform, and it pinpoints which bulls complement your herd to maximize dependable genetics. Gene Max Advantage is an easy, affordable test with index scores that deliver smart outlier reporting for customized selection and mating decisions. In challenging times, you need an advantage. Gene Max Advantage. Merck Animal Health is a proud sponsor of AM Angus, the science of healthier animals. At Merck Animal Health, we've begun a new chapter. It's a chapter being written to meet the demand of the world changing in more ways than we could have imagined. Contact your veterinarian or animal health supplier today. Welcome back. Growth in the feeding sector will rely on a quality focus. No one in Scott City, Kansas knows that more than Joe Morgan.
Well, excellence to me would mean that, it's at the very peak of the best of the best. I needed a job, I needed to make money, I had a family to support, and so I'm no different than anybody else. When I first started on my own, I was trying to be successful and survive. Things had to change, and we started, as I got older and started realizing that, we started the old deal with not only with quality, but with health assurances and all those kind of things that we figured as a commercial yard, and as we were growing, that it became more and more important for us to do the right things, promote all these things, and long term, it was going to make us more successful, our customers more successful, both financially and the long lasting, of the beef industry. We're good stewards of the land, we try and take care of the cattle, we're concerned about it because, we won't be successful, we won't be profitable if we don't do those things. Cattle won't perform for us, they won't be satisfactory in the marketplace for anybody else. My youngest son has came back to the company, has decided that, come back working for Dad wasn't as bad as he thought it was, so he will take over the company when I retire.
I grew up working out here. I started when I was 7 or 8 years old. Worked out here through high school, and then I thought I wanted to fly for a living. That in turn was probably a little too boring for my livelihood, I guess. Been back here about 8 years in November and love every minute of it. People want to do business with people, and so it's always been my father's philosophy. The biggest thing that we do is, we feed cattle 7 days a week. So I always, when I met someone in Denver that was against big agriculture, I invited them out here, and specifically I invited them to come out here on Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Sundays, when we're all out here feeding cattle.
No one person does all this. You have to have lots of good people, and they all have to care about Pokey or won't succeed.
From a family feeding business to a young person just finding his or her way, there are lessons to be learned in every part of the beef cattle chain. Krebs Ranch in Gordon, Nebraska offers the perfect setting for such lessons. The Angus Ranch offers internships that teach hard work and hands-on experience to people like Reese Tuckwiller, who revisited the site.
He expressed a lot of interest of just having a chance. He said he'd be willing to do anything, and boy, are we glad that we did it.
Reese is just a phenomenal young man. We've just really enjoyed his time here. He's an exceptional young man. He's kind of very, very driven.
The first time I came to Krebs, I was like, wow, this is a lot of moving parts out here. They got different units over here. They got the feedlot, they got the east side of the ranch. Everyone knows their job. So initially when I walked into this thing, it's like, how much can I write down and how much can I learn?
I didn't come from a big ranch background. I didn't grow up on a 500 cow ranch, and so a lot of that stuff I had to learn from really the bottom up. There's probably more people like me today than there were when I started. Agriculture A lot of the farms and ranches are getting larger, but maybe fewer people involved. And we need people. And so internship programs like this, things that develop and train future leaders and people that want to be involved with this are probably more important today than they've ever been, in my opinion. So some of the ways that we do that, I guess specifically about our program here, it's really, really hands-on. They really get to do a lot of things. Anything from processing calves, putting cedars in recips, baling hay. He'd had some experience with equipment and with tractors and stuff, but maybe not a ton of experience on a baler. And quickly he worked his way up to getting on one of our balers, and in fact I really think he became one of the favorites of Brad, who manages our feedlot and heads up a lot of our hay crew.
I got to work with Reese more here this summer on the bull stud side, so they got to learn a little bit of that side of the industry as far as semen production.
And then you know what, there's some unpleasant things that go along that, because ranches aren't all fun. Someone popped in my head, well, you're probably gonna be riding a horse every day. So instantly freaked out. I'd never ridden a horse before, and that was probably the biggest culture shock for me. I can now say I can partially ride a horse. So we had 4 interns at one time this summer, and our oldest daughter, Peyton, called them all Reese. She remembered Reese, she liked Reese, and so anytime one of our student workers came, hey, Reese. But yeah, I think Reese was the chosen one. One of the major things that I learned out here at Krebs was just organization. Being able to take this volume and this size of a ranch and condense it down and being all on a computer and mapping it all out and being so precise on everything, I think they do that really well. I'm glad I learned that. People who have the opportunity to expose themselves to internships and being able to get their hands on site and do things that they're not normally used to, I mean, it's a game changer. Gaining that perspective is something that I think a lot of people need to do because it makes us a stronger industry.
Leadership within our industry definitely moves forward. Things change day to day. Practices change, technology changes. People that can get into those leadership roles and really help advance that, not only help themselves, but they help other producers and they help the next generation. And
things that my generation in particularly can have a positive effect on is you start breaking down the different things in our industry in terms of technology, in terms of protein production, in terms of resource production. If you take pride in what you do, you're going to want to make something better. Make the people around us better in terms of making our industry better, translating to making our community and our world better.
I guess seeing a young person like Reese grow up and evolve and develop into a leader is something that's pretty sentimental to me. It doesn't seem like that long ago where you feel like maybe you were in the same shoes that he's in today.
I guess my hopes for Reese would be that he just finds something that he's truly passionate about, and you can wake up and be excited about it and go out and do something that you love.
Kind of want to follow my dad's footsteps. He was our county livestock judging coach for 25, 26 years. He took kids from an urban area and shoved them in a class and tell them, put a set together on these. I mean, being able to collectively have a group of kids that you can talk to and educate on that large of a scale, that's building a better industry all the way around.
As America's farmers and ranchers look to grow both food and opportunity, promise rests in the young leaders who will shape the future of the beef business. It also resides in the daily contributions countless families make in caring for the land and livestock. This is our greatest calling and ensures the ability to feed not only our families, but millions more. For all Angus ranchers and their families, we give thanks.